Caption Close Bogotá, Colombia, AP, in a cramped office in Colombia's capital, where a single window looks onto a narrow air shaft, Pedro Lupera searches through scanned copies of contracts, invoices, and bank wire instructions, all part of a trove of hundreds of thousands of pages of evidence smuggled out of Venezuela that he hopes will bring about the downfall of socialist President Nicolas Maduro. Once one of Venezuela's top anti-corruption prosecutors, Lupera left his home in Caracas 5 months ago with just $400 in cash and barely a change of clothes. He ended up in neighboring Colombia, where he is one of a half-dozen exiled prosecutors and former aides to ousted Venezuelan Chief Prosecutor Luisa Ortega working with authorities in the U.S. and elsewhere to build cases against senior officials many blame for destroying their homeland. Their efforts have yet to lead to any charges assigned to some that Maduro has succeeded in destroying Venezuela's justice system and that Ortega, in her rush to carve out a political future for herself, has promised more than she can deliver. But for Lupera, like many of his colleagues, the crusade is deeply personal. Once in charge of the country's most politically explosive cases, he discovered that intelligence agents had cancelled his passport and ordered his arrest when he tried to travel to Brazil in July to collect evidence in a region-wide bribery scandal involving Brazilian construction giant Odebrecht. He managed to leave by using an alternative ID that permits Venezuelan citizens to cross into Colombia and then caught a flight to Brazil. 2 weeks later, he watched in shock as one of the prime targets of his investigations, Venezuelan United Socialist Party boss Diosdado Cabello, accused him on live TV of helping run a $6 million extortion ring. "My ears began to get hot and red," he said. "I felt completely impotent. Like my whole life had been destroyed." Ortega, a longtime admirer of the late Hugo Chavez, broke with the government this year over what she said was Venezuela's descent into dictatorship when Maduro gutted the opposition-controlled National Assembly and created a parallel constitutional assembly to rule supreme. For her outspoken views, she was removed in August and authorities accused her husband, socialist lawmaker German Ferrer, of orchestrating, with the help of Lupera, an extortion ring under her watch, something she denies. Venezuelan officials call Ortega's anti-corruption activities an attempt to draw attention away from the investigations she and her husband face back home. Far from being silenced, the maverick prosecutor has sharpened her attacks on Maduro's government in frequent trips around Latin America and Europe. Almost immediately after arriving in Bogotá, Lupera and the others working to oust Maduro were welcomed by U.S. law enforcement agents and prosecutors pursuing charges against Venezuelan leaders, as well as Treasury Department officials running the Trump administration's sanctions program against Venezuela. But while the interaction with the Americans has been frequent, U.S.